Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Thursday, April 21st, 2022. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Hopefully you all survived 420 Day. I spent some time with Neil Katzeff and Don Hooker yesterday talking about the Chesapeake Bay Blues Festival. It is in its final year, and Don is the man who put it on all these years, and Neil is the owner of Katzeff Brothers, who has been a sponsor of that from day one. It was fun to reminisce, and you need to look for that bonus podcast dropping possibly today or tomorrow. All right, let's get into the news, shall we? Criminals are more brazen than I realized. A UPS driver was the victim of an armed robbery yesterday at the festival at Riva. At 11:20 a.m., let that sink in for a minute, 11:20 a.m., a UPS driver was making deliveries and returned to his truck to find two unknown men with ski masks, gloves, wearing dark clothing, and a gun. They ordered the driver to lay on the floor of the vehicle, and he did. They took 3 to 4 packages and fled in a dark-colored Infiniti G35. It is unknown what was in the packages or which way they fled because Routes 50, Routes 97, and Route 665 are all right there. And keep in mind that this is just a few days after a passenger in a taxi cab was shot right there when someone opened fire on the cab. Talk about brazen. Do you remember the name Dr. Ron Elfenbein? He ran for state senate against John Astle back in 2010 and was pretty much in the news at the forefront during the COVID situation. He had invented a box early on for people to get nasal swabs without having to breathe in their air. And then his clinics and gambrels were some of the first with testing and the monoclonal infusions, etc. Well, now he's been indicted on 3 counts of healthcare fraud by the U.S. Department of Justice. He's accused of submitting false and fraudulent claims to Medicare and insurers for patients who received COVID tests and treatments at his clinics. He's not alone. There were 17 other doctors across the country. The feds say that he took advantage of the health crisis to line his own pockets, and the indictments alleged inflated billing for hour-long visits that were only 5 minutes or less. It also alleges that he submitted more than $1.5 million in claims for office visits and treatments that never happened. If found guilty, Elfenbein does face a maximum sentence of 10 years for each of the 3 counts. And apparently today is a bad news kind of day. Gware Sunny Rawal of Glen Burnie was sentenced to 20 years for negligent manslaughter after he got into an accident that left a man dead. He had a blood alcohol content of 0.12, and the accident happened back in February of 21 on Route 10. Police say he was intoxicated. They say he was using Snapchat and doing 110 miles per hour in his Mercedes when he slammed into the rear of the victim's car. He fled on foot and was found a short time later and arrested. He was required to have an ignition interlock system on his car from a previous DUI, but that was not installed on the Mercedes. And in the release from the state's attorney's office, she kept emphasizing that he was the owner of a pizza shop, and she named it specifically by name several times throughout the release, so I'm not quite sure why that's really relevant. Maybe she got a bad slice at one time. All right, some better news. There is a new company in town called Flutter. That is Flutter, but there's no E at the end of it, or almost to the end of it. It's F-L-U-T-T-R. It is an electronic greeting card company that will mail out real cards to whoever you want for whatever occasion. The cards are unique and not something you're going to find in a Hallmark store because Flutter uses an army of local independent artists all over the country, and several of them are right here from Annapolis, including the PVA artists over at Bates Middle School. Pretty cool. But you can schedule the cards to send whenever, and they handle the messaging, the signing, the mailing, the stamping, everything. The cost is about $7 when I was snooping around on their website, so not a whole lot more than the run-of-the-mill Hallmark one, but I'll tell you, they are much nicer. I might just take a day off and sit down and schedule my cards out for a year in advance. If you want to check it out, you can save 50% on your first order and use the code PROMO50, P-R-O-M-O 50, and they told me it was all caps, so I don't know whether that makes a difference. And to check it out and order, you want to head to sendflutter.com. That's send, F-L-U-T-T-R.com. And that's all I got. Podcast up. Look for a bonus pod with Don or Neil about the Chesapeake Bay Blues Festival, maybe today, if not, then tomorrow. Up this weekend on the Local Business Spotlight, Unity Gardens with Rick Hutzel on deck for next weekend. And that's a wrap for today, but first a quick thank you to the sponsors for today's Daily News Brief, Alpha Engineering, Solar Energy Services, The Roof Guy Annapolis, and the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long End Foster Company. It is Thursday, so we have Trevor here from Annapolis Makerspace with your Maker Minutes, and of course, George Young from DC MDVA Weather is here with your locally forecast weather. All of that gets underway in a bit, so hang tight.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt of the Kristi Neidhardt Team from Northrop Realty, a Long and Foster Company.
One of the most common questions we get, how do I maximize the value of my home before I sell it? It's a great question. We look at improvements like investments. What is the rate of return? For example, if we invest $5,000 in painting kitchen cabinets and installing granite, how much more will our home sell for? The answer? About $25,000 more. That's a 500% return on investment. Because of returns like this, we have started a program called Investing in You. We know cash is often tight when you're making a move, and we are here to help. We will front you up to $15,000 to invest in refreshing your home before you list it, with the agreement to be paid back once your home settles. Call us today at 410-599-1370 so we can help you maximize your home's value.
That's another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt. To get in touch, call 410-295-6579 or visit kn-team.com. That's kn-team.com.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA Weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Thursday, April 21st. Yesterday brought that first nice step in the right direction for the Annapolis region that we all needed after Sunday through Tuesday's conditions, and today through the weekend will only get better. Look for plenty of sunshine each day today through Sunday with highs in the mid-60s to lower 70s today, followed by mid or upper 70s tomorrow, with more mid-60s to lower 70s again on Saturday ahead of mid-70s to maybe some lower 80s for a few spots both Sunday and Monday, with conditions expected to remain totally dry until around next Tuesday. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, as well as through our website at dcmdvaweather.info. And as always, be sure to download our DC MDVA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
Hi, this is Gary Ledard, owner of the Roof Guy Annapolis. For over 15 years, my team has worked with hundreds of homeowners to provide the highest quality roofing in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. As a homeowner myself, I understand when it's time for a new roof, you need to find a roofing company you can actually trust. One that will give you the bottom line. No fluff, no runaround. At The Roof Guy, it's my goal to build lifelong relationships and aspire to change what people have come to expect from a roofing contractor by delivering great experiences. So if you're looking for a roofing company in Annapolis or Anne Arundel County that holds the highest standards for quality, craftsmanship, and business reputation, call me today to schedule your free roof evaluation at 410-570-4956 or visit my website at theroofguyAnnapolis.com.
Every week, makers, crafters, and educators hold events all over the area. Highlighting some of those, here's our Maker Minutes, brought to you by Annapolis Makerspace.
Hey, this is Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes. Tomorrow night, check out Kick Gas, a partnership between the Inner West Street Association and the Electric Vehicle Association of Greater D.C. A chance to check out lots of different electric vehicles and talk to the owners, not salespeople, to learn firsthand accounts of how they perform. Down on the first block of West Street. Saturday, there's various greenscape projects around Annapolis, celebrating 30 years of greenscape, beautifying, cleaning up, and planting in public spaces around the city. And there's lots of other stuff going on around the area for Earth Day. On Saturday, Quiet Waters Park has an Earth Day celebration with a 5K race, story time, compost demonstration, yoga, invasive species pull, pollinator talk, and tree planting. South River Farm and Park in Edgewater has an Earth Day seed swap and Arbor Day, and Jug Bay Wetland Sanctuary on Saturday has an orienteering class, and also check out their Pollinator Wednesday next Wednesday. In Knits and Pieces off of Bestgate Road, Saturday is their final general Learn to Knit session for April, but registration is still open for their Learn to Knit and Anchor Summer Top, as well as a pint-sized sweater, coming up in May. Blended Essentials in Savannah Park. Tomorrow, check out Spring Fling, where middle schoolers have a night out, with Kids Table joining them making savory snacks, as well as blending floral and fruit-inspired fragrances into Blended Essentials products. And registration is still open for their summer camp starting in June, with week-long camps making candles, soaps, bath bombs, lotions, and more, with a different theme each week. At Whole Foods in Annapolis, today their Half Pint Kids Club is doing chocolate and banana stuffed crescents. Tomorrow, check out Spring in Southern Italy, exploring delicious spring dishes from Southern Italy. And on Tuesday, their Half Pint Kids Club is doing Ducks in a Boat. Local by Design is having their Annapolis Artisans Market again this weekend. Drop by their shop off at Chickapin Round Road and meet some of their local artists and the great products they sell. At Art Farm in Annapolis, tomorrow there's Poetic Musings, Adult Poetry Night and Open Mic. Saturday morning, they have a henna workshop with a tea tasting for ages 13 through 18. And Saturday, they have a Make It Kids papermaking workshop for ages 9 through 12. And their spring semester kicks off this week. Monday, there's a kids' spring watercolor class for ages 9 through 12. Tuesday, there's teen graphic design class for ages 12 through 17. Wednesday, they have a kids' sculpture class for ages 12 through 17 in the afternoon. And then a kids' photography class for ages 10 through 13 in the evening. And there's more fun spring semester classes coming up, as well as their summer camps later on, which will include topics such as painting, photography, textiles, play production and building, music, creative writing, and lots more. At the Anne Arundel County Public Library System this week, tomorrow, Deal has an Earth Day preschool art, Discoveries has a pre-K art party, Brooklyn Park has an Earth Day craft day, and the Bush Annapolis Library has Earth Day upcycling. On Saturday, Edgewater has a meditative mandala painting workshop, Crofton has Ask a Master Gardener, Odenton has an Earth Day celebration, making a mini greenhouse or bug house to take home, Glen Burnie has a trade school fair, Severn is doing Celebrating Earth Day, as well as making seed starting pots. Discoveries has Pollinators in the Food I Love, as well as recycled material made baskets. And Mountain Road has a Mass Queer Aid, an LGBTQIA+ night of music, dancing, crafts, costume contest, and more. On Tuesday, the Broadneck Library has Broadneck Needle Crafters, and then on Wednesday, the Eastport Annapolis Neck Library is doing an Origami May Day bouquet. And happy birthday to the Eastport Annapolis Neck Library, who are celebrating 43 years this Saturday. And at Annapolis Makerspace this week, Tuesday is their monthly general meeting and open house, both virtual and in person, for anyone who wants to come by and check out the shop. And also be sure to keep an eye out for some upcoming workshops we have, including making vinyl decals with Cricut in May, easy custom glass etching with Cricut in June, and learning how to make carved wooden signs using a CNC router, coming up in July. If you have any questions about the Annapolis Makerspace, the Maker Minutes, or any of these events, feel free to contact me at trevor@makeannapolis.org. And you can find links to all of these events at the Annapolis Makerspace website, also at makeannapolis.org. And whether you're making art, software, sawdust, or just a mess, chances are you're already a maker. This has been Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.